Welcome back to Trailblaze Tactics, Trailblazers. Today, we have to talk about a massive psychological trap that is currently sweeping the Honkai Star Rail community. It has been a few days since Sparxie officially went live on the servers, and the initial impressions are flooding in. People are testing her, running the numbers, and coming to a very dangerous conclusion. A massive portion of the player base is looking at her, getting bored of her animations, and deciding to skip her banner to save for upcoming units like Ashveil. But I am here to tell you that the community is suffering from a massive, fundamental misunderstanding of how this character is designed. You are falling for the Sparxie Illusion. Right now, because the Elation roster is incredibly shallow, players are forcing Sparxie into the role of a hyper-carry main DPS, and while she can clear content that way, you are judging a Ferrari by how well it drives in a school zone. Today, we are taking an elite-level deep dive into Sparxie's true mechanical identity. I am going to break down her incredible thrill economy, her absurd punchline generation, and why skipping her right now will absolutely brick your account when the 4.2 anniversary Elation meta finally arrives. Let's get tactical. To understand why Sparxie is an absolute must-pull for future-proofing your account, we have to look at the evolution of character archetypes in this game. In the early days of Star Rail, characters were strictly confined to their boxes. A DPS did damage, and a support provided buffs. But Hoyoverse is moving away from that rigid design. Sparxie is the prime example of a hybrid combatant. She is disguised as a main DPS for the current patch, but her internal math screams that she is actually the ultimate sub-DPS engine. Let's look at the punchline mechanic. The general complaint is that without a dedicated, specialized team, her damage can feel somewhat gated. But when you analyze her action economy, Sparxie is a kinetic battery. During a standard cycle, she is capable of flooding your UI with 40, 50, or even 60-plus punchline charges. She generates these stacks at a speed that no other character in the game can currently rival. Why does this matter? Because in Hoyoverse's new design philosophy, resources are shared. By outputting that many punchlines, she isn't just buffing herself, she is creating a massive reservoir of kinetic energy for the rest of her team to feed on. She is a foundational pillar, not just a standalone attacker. Now, the immediate counter-argument to Sparxie's rapid playstyle is the skill point economy. If a sub-DPS is constantly taking actions and generating stacks, they are usually draining your actual main DPS. This is where Sparxie's kit goes from good to absolutely broken. Hoyoverse engineered a flawless failsafe into her ultimate ability called the thrill mechanic. When Sparxie triggers her ultimate, she doesn't just deal damage, she generates thrills. These act as phantom skill points. When she takes her next turn, instead of consuming a real skill point from your team's shared pool, she consumes a thrill. This means that once she gets her momentum going, she becomes entirely self-sustaining. In future teams where you won't have characters like Sparkle generating infinite SP for you, Sparxie is going to be able to seamlessly slot into the sub-DPS role without punishing your team's economy. She will sit in the background, unleashing massive follow-up attacks, generating dozens of punchline stacks, and she will do it all for free. This is the definition of a future-proof unit. If you want concrete proof of how devastating this sub-DPS playstyle is going to be, we only need to look at how she currently interacts with high-investment Yaoguang teams. For those who have tested Sparxie alongside Yaoguang, the results are staggering. Yaoguang's kit is built around forcing aha instants, massive, catastrophic follow-up triggers tied to her ultimate. The problem has always been her downtime. Outside of her ultimate window, Yaoguang's damage drops significantly. But when you slot Sparxie into that exact team as a sub-DPS, she completely patches that weakness. Because Sparxie is generating 40 to 60 punchlines passively while using her free thrills, she artificially inflates Yaoguang's damage floor. Suddenly, Yaoguang is hitting for millions of damage even when her ultimate is on cooldown. This is a glimpse into the true Elation meta. It is not about one character doing all the work. It is about an ecosystem of characters constantly triggering each other's follow-up conditions, and Sparxie is the glue holding that entire ecosystem together. This brings us to the most critical point of this entire tactical breakdown, the version 4.2 anniversary. We already know, based on the projected roadmap and historical drip marketing patterns, that the version 4.2 anniversary is going to introduce a brand new meta-defining Elation main DPS. And the theorycrafting data explicitly states that this upcoming character charges their devastating ultimate ability directly through the generation of punchlines. Let me repeat that. The strongest upcoming character in the game requires punchline generation to function optimally. Who is the undisputed best punchline generator in the entire game? Sparxie. It is absolutely blatant what Hoyoverse is doing here. They released the engine right now in version 4.0, and they are going to release the sports car in version 4.2. If you skip Sparxie today, you are going to pull the 4.2 anniversary character in a few months, and you are going to realize their damage is completely crippled because you don't have the battery to power them. You will be sitting there waiting for a Sparxie rerun just to make your new DPS function properly.
I want to address the biggest reason people are actively skipping this banner. The community is suffering from animation fatigue. Players are logging in, testing Sparxie, watching her lengthy ultimate animation a few dozen times, and deciding, you know what, I'm kind of tired of seeing this. I'm gonna save my Stellar Jades for Ashveil. Look, I get it. Ashveil is highly anticipated, and his design is incredible. If you are pulling purely for aesthetics and lore, then by all means, pull for who you love. But if you care about your account's endgame value, you have to look past the repetitive animations. You cannot let short-term boredom blind you to long-term account value. Sparxie's animations might feel tedious when you are forcing her to be the hypercarry right now, but when she transitions into her true sub-DPS role in 2 months, she is going to be operating passively in the background. You won't be hyper-focusing on her, you will be watching your new 4.2 main DPS absolutely shred the memory of chaos because Sparxie is silently feeding them infinite energy. The verdict is crystal clear, Trailblazers. Do not fall for the Sparxie Illusion. She is not a temporary main DPS that you will bench in 2 months. She is the ultimate SP-positive punchline generating engine that will define the entire 4.x Elation meta. If you plan on interacting with the Elation archetype at all during this cycle, she is an incredibly safe, high-value investment for your Stellar Jades. I want to hear from you down in the comments. Are you one of the players who pulled her early and realized her sub-DPS potential? Or were you planning on skipping her for Ashveil because you got tired of her playstyle? Let me know if this mechanical breakdown changed your mind. If this deep dive helped you map out your F2P account strategy, do me a massive favor and hit that like button. It pushes this tactical analysis out to other players who are about to make a huge polling mistake. Make sure you are subscribed to Trailblaze Tactics so you never miss another elite level breakdown, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace!